What's up? What's up? Welcome to Own the Chaos, guys. It is Thursday, October 22nd, and the stock market still can't pick a freaking direction, but that's all right. We're going to sit here and own it with you guys and watch everybody rolling in here. And what is going on? Chaos Crew, I see my Chaos Crew fam hanging out. What's up, Vinay, Dawson, Bodie Beard, Primetime, DJs, Deadly. Good to see you guys and everybody else that we might have missed. Guys, it has just been an absolutely crazy week. We've had earnings that have crushed. We celebrated Snap, which is still being an absolute monster. We can talk about that later on in the day, but we got so much to get to this afternoon, and it is just starting. Next week, we got even bigger earnings that we're certainly pumped for as well. But man, just an unbelievable week, Fat Man Zoom. Just been absolutely insane.
Yeah, we got a new setup here. We got new boxes or something.
Yeah. So
you're doing some housekeeping.
Trying to step it up.
You know, first, I want to start by just apologizing about my actions yesterday. For those who watched, a lot of my emotions get the best of me. We all have those moments. You know, Rocket's just one of those triggers. So I think I owe everybody an apology. So for yesterday, I am not sorry for all you fools that are getting on our case about Rocket. And let me tell you something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
No, I was going to say, keep it rolling. Nobody's complaining over here.
I went back and I watched the video and I was very happy with my Al Pacino impersonation. I'm not the biggest impersonator, but man, I nailed it.
Oh my God. First of all, no apologies needed because that was epic. And I think we need to see more of that. That's all I need to say. There's no apologies necessary, my friend.
Yeah. And I think Rocket has covered up MGM, and I feel like people would have been giving us heat about MGM leading up. But then today, MGM made a nice little move up 5%.
Oh, nice. I didn't even catch that.
Yep, boy. So anyways, it's all looking good. As the title says, it's all about the stimulus. We've known this. Like I said yesterday, I've been hanging tight. Another day, I haven't made a trade, but they're saying they're getting close on the stimulus. So we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to believe it until I see it, right? At this point, why would you? I have been moving some stuff around. I actually ended up buying a dip on some things. I finally made the plunge into Fastly, grabbed some Fastly. I think we finally started to see the bottom on that thing. As you guys know, I still love Fastly. I've been very adamant about that. But when it went crazy all the way up to nearly $140 a share, I said it was time to get out. Sure enough, it was. But now we are getting back to a point to where I think it is a very decent time to buy, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But what's going on, everybody else? We got some people rolling in here. We see people in the Chaos Crew, which, by the way, if you are joining us right now and you're not part of the crew, you want to be part of the conversation, hit the join button and become part of the Chaos Crew. Not only does it help support the channel, but you also get daily watch lists from us. You also get private live streams as well and access to the public portfolio that we trade with as well. Still doing relatively decent on it, all things considered, as far as the market's concerned, and we're still profitable. Still making some really good choices on the public portfolio. If you guys want access to that, make sure you're joining the Chaos Crew today. Would love to have you guys over there.
Yeah. So topics for today. So if you're just joining us, we go live minimum every Tuesday and Thursday. Yesterday we went live for Tesla earnings. But what we like to do is we like to touch base on what's going on in the market. No knock on other creators, but I feel like a lot of content is backward looking and looking at the past. So yeah, we do these live streams to really discuss what's going on in the moment and help you guys out through that process. But also, trading can get lonely. So we created this live stream to talk about the market and then anything that's going on of note, and then hopefully to answer your question. So topics for today, we'll go over our watch list top performers. We'll go over the stimulus. We had some earnings pre-market. We'll go through three tickers. After hours earnings, we have four tickers we're going to go over through there, and then we'll have your Q&A. So the way it's going to be structured is ask your questions about the current topic. So if we're talking about pre-market earnings, for example, Coca-Cola, we'll take questions regarding that. But any other questions that are outside of the current topic, we'll save it till the end, and we'll get to those questions. So we're not ignoring your questions. We just got to try to be as efficient as possible. So with that being said, what's going on in the market?
So right now the market is kind of mixed overall, but it's starting to make a move back up on some positive potential Rona stimulus news. But like we said, guys, take it with a grain of salt. It's every day. It's well, they're breaking down, or no, they're doing well, and whatever. So right now, the S&P 500 is up about 0.5%. Dow is about the same, and Nasdaq is just up a measly 0.18%. Tech has been taking an absolute beating all week this week, and so I think that these are some really good opportunities to grab on the dips, and we'll talk about Amazon, and Amazon is still getting beaten down here, and I think that if you don't try to grab some Amazon down here in the $3,100 range, that you're making a pretty big mistake, in my opinion. You know, obviously I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it is just one of these things where Amazon is on sale right now, and a lot of these other tech stocks, especially as it relates to e-commerce, for whatever reason, e-commerce has taken the biggest beating, and we still kind of relate a lot of that to stimulus, but these e-commerce stocks have corrected, and I think that if you don't try to take advantage of some of these right now, we talked about Etsy yesterday, a lot of other ones, I think that you're probably going to regret that decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And virtual companies, we talk about your Thursday play. So on the watch list, one of the stocks that had been on the watch list was Zoom. And so you've had this Thursday play where unemployment numbers, the jobs reports come out,
Yep.
and Zoom goes up.
Yeah.
And it rang true today again.
Yeah. Right out the gate.
So that was one that was interesting on our watch list, one of the 5 stocks we were watching. But a few things happened today. So stimulus, this whole week has been dictated by stimulus and the updates.
Yeah.
The stock market is about managing your emotions. And I think it's really important to note that you have to understand that your emotions need to be in check. So I don't care what happens with the stimulus. Obviously, I want it to go through, but like we spent a long time talking about negotiations and negotiation strategies. Nobody's about to get you in your account. There's certain things from a political perspective, whether we like it or not, that's going to impact these things. And so your ability to remove yourself from how you feel about a party, a person, or the news, who's doing what, and all your conspiracy theories is going to allow you to see success. So what we know is Nancy Pelosi basically said they're really close to getting a deal. And it's kind of followed this trend where one side's kind of put a power play, and then they've come back, and then the other side does a power play and come back. I do feel like they're close. I think it's true that they are close. And then additionally, what she had said was, listen, just because we're close on the deal, it still has got to get through Congress. So that's going to take some time to write the legislation and for it to get approved. But all signs point to the stimulus will go through.
Yeah. I actually, there's a lot of people saying that it's not going to go through before the election. And for me, I would be surprised if it didn't. And you can make arguments on both sides, but my theory is that I think that if I was on either side, I would want it to go through regardless, because I don't want to be the party that says, well, you held up all of our money and we're not voting for you for that, you know? So I think you'd be shooting yourself in the foot if either party tried to hold this up before the election. And so my theory based off of that just alone, there's no actual other facts as far as that's concerned, but I would think that it would only make sense that we see something as far as that is concerned moving forward before the election actually happens.
So that's the main piece of news that I think is driving the market. Again, like we said yesterday, I doubt it'll go through today. And so I think there's going to be another sell-off towards the end of the day, potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
So that was the main news. Then the jobs report, the numbers weren't as bad as expected. So the job reports was a little bit better. And then the other news we get on Thursday, which has been a common theme, is regarding home buying.
Yes.
And so this ties into Rocket. So this is what they do, people. This is what they do with these fucking clickbait, whatever. So this is the title of the CNBC article. September existing home sales jumped 9.4%, but prices are rising too fast as supply remains tight. So this is the stuff that annoys me, because last week they talked about week over week, the numbers were lowering. It was down 7% from week over week, but year over year, we were crushing it.
Yeah.
And so it feels like every week it's the title that, like, even if it's positive, they give you some bearish title, right?
Yeah, right.
Prices are rising too fast. It's just supply and demand. What do you mean prices are rising too fast? I could make a title saying home sales jumped 10% and prices are rising in the market, right? So home buyers are making money or whatever. And so it's like, come on, give me a break. I think there's a conspiracy on Rocket. But yeah, supply remains tight. We've known supply remains tight. That means that there's just greater opportunity. So as I look towards 2021, home sales are jumping, and they're saying that supply still hasn't been released. Why is that bad news? That bodes well, in my opinion. So again, I think they're trying to keep this rocket price down. It's only a matter of time, my friend. What say you?
I agree. I think that somebody in some hedge fund or what have you is loading the freaking boat on this thing as it continues to come down. And we've talked about there's quite a bit of short interest on this as well. And I mean, again, we're talking about this sitting at numbers pretty much where it was when it initially went public. So their IPO when it opened up was at $17.50. Right now it's sitting at $20.24. And you're telling me one of the biggest real estate booms that we've seen in quite some time doesn't warrant this to be up at higher than $17.50. I mean, get out of here with that. So, I mean, I saw somebody saying that Fat Man Zoom needs to apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. So,
Fucking nothing.
so I would agree that. What is that? I have no idea.
Sounds like your little nighttime alarm.
I
Maybe
know.
remind you to go to bed.
That is what it is, actually. Hold on. I think. Hold on. What the hell? Nope. I have no idea what just happened. Hold on.
This is like calming me down. It's like, this is therapeutic.
We're
to
good.
Me.
We're good.
So every time I fire it up, just play that, and it'll just like woosah.
I have no idea what that was. Oh shit. Well, that's what you get for being on live TV or live streaming, whatever. Okay. Well, hey, this is what it is. Hope you guys liked it. Yeah, but maybe that's what it was. It was Discord, probably. I bet you that's what it was.
Oh, okay. So, Bodie Bear brings up a good point. The comment is on housing. My concern is the volume of people that are behind on their mortgages. This could lead to supply glut and foreclosures. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That doesn't affect Rocket Mortgage. That affects banks. And I'm not saying it's a good thing for foreclosures. That sucks. But if we're looking at it objectively from the market, that's actually a good thing, because there'll be buyers and that increases the demand. And Rocket Mortgages does mortgages. They don't leverage anything.
Right.
And so they're processing it. So that means actually more mortgages. Banks suck for them, but for Rocket, it's actually a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still very much a buy, and it's super undervalued. And I don't care what anybody else says about it. That's just all, that's been our sentiment, and nothing's going to really change that unless the numbers prove otherwise. And we have earnings coming out for them next week. Is it the 29th next week?
For who?
For Rocket, is it the 29th is for them?
I don't think Rocket's next week. I'll pull that up while you're talking.
Okay, yeah, if you can pull that up.
got a
I know
lot for
Penn's next
Rocket.
week. Penn's the 29th. That's what it was. I saw Penn announce their earnings is on the 29th. I was just getting them
Because
mixed up.
Rocket was last month, wasn't it? We just did November 10th.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So 2 weeks from now. Um, and so, anyways,
Ooh, that's gonna be nice.
it's going to be good. I think we're going to see a really decent run up into earnings as well. I mean, I would say scoop up what you can in the $20 range, because if you, I just don't see it sitting there for too much longer. It's funny. One of our, I guess, colleagues, if you will, Dumb Money is a channel that we actually like watching a lot. And the reason they call themselves Dumb Money is because the suits are what you would call smart money, and they always call us retail investors dumb. So they call them dumb money. So we're the dumb ones, I guess, but we seem to be right a lot. And sometimes, in a lot of cases, a lot more times than the analysts are and the suits are. So I would say that, I'm sticking to my guns, and there's nothing here on Rocket that is showing me or telling me that I need to be worried about anything right now.
What's going on, Jorge, hi, Jorge, what's up? Jorge Gonzalez. Yep. So that's all good. Yeah, we know. Yes, airlines are running right
They are
now.
rocking,
Sure.
and I think a lot of that has to do with the stimulus, potential stimulus move.
Yeah. So before we get into that, we'll get into the earnings. That's next. We'll talk about love for sure.
Yeah.
Tesla earnings recap. So everybody was here live yesterday. Thank you for being a part of that. We had like almost 1,500 people.
Over 1,500 people hanging out live. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was super awesome. I'm going to let you take that away. Comments on that.
Yeah. So yesterday, if you guys didn't hang out here, if you guys, or if you guys, live under a rock, wasn't hanging out in the stock market, estimated earnings per share on Tesla yesterday were 56 cents. They came in at 76 cents and absolutely crushed earnings. Price targets were raised all over the place, and the conference call was actually really interesting as well. We always talk about how Tesla is a tech company, and that's kind of our mantra, so to speak, but that's actually not Elon's. Elon was talking in the conference last night about how they're more people don't actually realize they're more of just a multitude of startups, where you have the automotive side, you have energy side. He even talked about getting the HVAC, and I think the highlight of that, as far as his quote unquote startups within the Tesla company, is insurance. And I talked about this morning within our mentorship folks, that the insurance side is very interesting, because when you try, and I was actually looking to buy a Tesla, and one of the big turnoffs for me, at least for now, was the insurance cost. Like, the insurance is ridiculously expensive on Teslas if you go on to the retail route. Like, if it was Geico or Allstate or whatever, State Farm, what have you, it is ridiculously expensive. But Tesla has their own insurance companies that actually brings the premiums down some. And so I think that if you look to that in the potential growth that Tesla has, which already saw that we could potentially see 1 million vehicle sales in Tesla in 2021, which would be absolutely incredible. And I think they do probably end up getting to that number. The insurance side of things is also going to grow with that, and the margins on the insurance side is absolutely insane as far as profits concerned. So all systems go. This is why analysts were upgrading this, and I don't think the price today reflects a lot of what we learned about Tesla moving forward and the growth that they're going to be having going into 2021. But I am, for one, am super excited about Tesla right now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed digging through the earnings, and have a little bit of an announcement. Everybody's been asking about where to find me. I had a low-key channel. I am doing a Fat Man Zoom channel for specific content that maybe doesn't make sense here, but we want to give to you guys. So I'm doing a deep dive into the earnings, and that video is going to be released tonight. So I'll have you put in the description, Brad.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a little taste of it. And let's start with the insurance, because that is also what I was most excited about. Elon does such a good job of giving us good information.
Yeah.
And I feel like the mainstream doesn't pass along that information to you all. But you know who does? Fat Man Zoom and Only Chaos does.
That's right.
Here's what he said. There was this common theme of affordability, and not making the product cheap, but making the product where it can reach everybody and creating value in that way. So he acknowledged that insurance is expensive. And so what he said was, if we can do this in-house, insurance could be will cost less and also be better. So they'll provide more value. And what he alluded to was like the car is so smart, will become so smart that it could look at your habits, your driving habits, and they can assess risk based on your driving habits
Right.
and give you insurance reflective of that. And so that's awesome. Now, here is a key statistic that you will not hear. He said that insurance could be 30 to 40% of what their car business could be from a revenue perspective, which is insane.
That's unbelievable.
And in addition to that, that it could be more profitable. It could mean more to the business because the margins are going to be incredible for insurance,
Yeah.
as opposed to a physical car. And so that's insane when you're thinking about the future growth prospects of the company. That is one of many, many things that I'll get into with my video where I'm really discussing that. But like, my God, that's incredible for them.
It really is. And I know that we have a lot of people that are just quote unquote fanboys. And I guess we're becoming that, you know, especially with like Rocket and Tesla and stuff like that. But the things that we're bringing to the table are absolutely true. And I just want to reiterate that we do bring about risk on some of this stuff as well. But I don't know what downside there really is to Tesla right now. I just don't see it. And the more I keep accumulating shares, the less inclined I am to actually sell them. I keep telling myself, well, I'll trim it when it gets up here, or I'll trim it when it gets up there. And I just can't bring myself to do it because every time I do, there's just something else that I'm seeing that's like, well, wait a minute, this story is still well beyond being written. And we talked about this yesterday, that as much as Tesla's moved in the last 12 months, it's still very much a growth stock. And I can't imagine myself selling any of it for the foreseeable future. I just don't know why I would. I mean, it's just going to continue to go up from here, and I'm just super excited for the future on this thing, especially at 2021. I think that's going to be good. They already talked about Cybertrucks potentially being delivered as well, and kind of gave some digs towards the Hummer in there too, talking about some of the performance metrics on the Cybertruck as well. I think there's a lot more people that will be attracted to the Cybertruck. First of all, the Cybertruck is half the price of what the H2 or the not the H2, the Hummer truck will be. The Hummer truck is $113,000 at the highest trim level, and even at the lowest trim level, it was $80,000. The highest trim level for the Cybertruck was, I believe, $80,000. So it met the lowest of the Hummer, and the metrics and the range and all that good stuff actually blow the Hummers away. So the technology is still very much there for Tesla. They still have the upper hand, and I don't think that they're going to sell that many Hummers. I really don't. I just think that Tesla's still number one, and I don't see how anybody's going to really overtake them at all. I really just don't see that. I don't see a scenario where that happens.
And Steve had said, he kind of echoed your sentiments. Tesla's going to be a monster in 1 to 2 years. Yeah, for sure. And 5, 10, 20 years. Like,
yeah,
I mean, this thing can go forever.
Right.
So, you're right. I don't think the issue would be competition. I think the issue is themselves.
Yeah.
The only way this thing doesn't happen, the only way this thing really gets impacted is if they get in their way. So if there's a snag in production, right? They're rethinking battery technology. And he talked about battery technology and how they're rethinking it and building it from scratch.
Right.
And this is what's wild about Tesla is they're building the machines and the equipment that build the machines and the equipment, right? Like that's how freaking smart they are.
Yeah.
And so if there's a snag in that, if there's a recall, like the only thing that's going to get in the way of Tesla is Tesla.
Yep.
And so if you hear about regulatory issues, if you hear about recall issues, production issues, delivery issues, and those can all be resolved. Those are the only temporary issues they will have. And also just setting the bar so high that you can't, they've just got to keep beating that. So and those are not material. So, or the last one wasn't material. So yeah, I mean, there's this huge opportunity with this company. And, Elon's cracked the code as far as what it is to be a CEO.
Yeah.
I think Tim Cook kind of moved a little bit, like moved the needle a little bit. I think uh shoot, his name is Jensen Huang,
Of
Nvidia
NVIDIA. Yeah.
CEO, moved the needle as well. But Elon Musk is taking it to another level. And if you really listen to these earnings calls, he doesn't do the business speak. Like
Right. There's
you
no,
feel
yeah.
like he's super smart, but you feel like he's not giving you the business speak. And I think that's why he frustrates the board. But as a regular person, I think you can't discount what he's doing because he's not trying to BS you. He's telling you how it is. He's giving you sort of the outlook, and you feel like he's one of you. And I don't think you can. I don't think there's enough focus put on that because that's why he has a cult, is because you feel like, hey man, I got somebody in corporate that's riding for me.
Right. And he's also been pretty vocal about how he feels about us retail investors as opposed to the institutions and that sort of thing. And I think that's probably why the majority of shareholders are retail investors. And yeah, we've seen some volatility as far as that's concerned, because retail investors are a little bit more emotional than the institutions are. But I think that there's definitely something to be said for that. Also, we haven't talked about that with the increase of these margins and really impacting their
Yes.
bottom line. S&P 500 is still very much on the table. So some of the things that the S&P 500 were looking to see in order to include them in the index, they've kind of cleaned up a little bit. So that catalyst is still very much on the table. So, I mean, I think that that could still very much happen. By the end of the year, I'm still a little bit on the fence about, but definitely in 2021, I could see that being a very huge possibility. But this earnings call definitely cleaned a lot of things up that I think that would make it look a lot more attractive to the board and S&P. And the inclusion is very much on the table for Tesla.
Yeah, let's talk about that because it's clear they have a roadmap. And when we talk business and when we did the Barcast, one of the things we talked about is to maintain focus and not get distracted.
Right.
And they have this roadmap, and they know exactly where they're going, and they're executing on it. And it looks like it is towards S&P inclusion.
Yeah.
And I admire it when I put my business hat on, and as a business person, I admire everything he's doing and how he's going about his business. But let me start with a quote, and then I'll give you some figures and a bold prediction.
Uh-oh.
So, quote from Elon, and this is how he started it. He started the call. He said, so Q3 was our best quarter in history. We achieved record production and deliveries, record revenue, record net income, both GAAP and non-GAAP, and record free cash flow of $1.4 billion. That's how he starts it, right? Awesome. And think about that, the best quarter in history, record quarter. And then he talks about fifth straight quarter of profitability. We all know that. And gross margins increasing. That's all awesome. And that's great to hear. And when they talked about the future, the bar's only getting set higher. But what the things they're keying on that I think is part of the S&P and just satisfying those institutions is margins increasing big time. And that's their goal. Is I think what they said was this quarter, it was like 70% of production was like local sources. So like their whole goal with like gigafactories, Berlin, Austin, Shanghai, was like, that's how they're increasing margin because they don't have the cost of like sending it from far away.
Right.
And he was effusive, if that's how I use the word, in his praise of China, the China team. And it sounds like they're his best team. Well, what's crazy, basically, is like, they freaking blow me away. They over deliver. They beat they beat deadlines. And he's like talking about how awesome China is. Well, China is also going to be their biggest market, right? Or outside of US. I don't know. I don't know how those numbers break down, but China is the biggest opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to hear. But like, that's how they're increasing their operating margins. When most companies, as they grow older, their margins get tighter, they're actually growing them, which is really awesome. So all that was great. There's a whole bunch of other things in regards to solar and production that we won't necessarily get into, but here's my bold prediction. 500,000 vehicles delivered is the number we keep keying on, and they reaffirm that. Now, they said it's going to be tight, but I think that was just them covering their ass. I don't think 500,000 is going to be an issue.
No, I don't think
If
so
they
either.
miss next quarter, that's going to be a problem if they don't hit that.
Right.
But I expect that. If they hit it, it's not going to move the needle. Here's what's going to move the needle. They tried to ask about next year and how many vehicles are going to be produced. Chaos Crew, anybody watching, this is the first time you're going to hear it anywhere. You're hearing it here first. And remember, production numbers for next year are going to be 1 million vehicles delivered. You heard it here.
Yep.
They didn't say that, but here's what they said. So one of the analysts said, hey, Elon, if you had your best quarter of deliveries, if you take that over 4 quarters, it roughly gets to about, I think he said 860 some thousand vehicles. So is it fair to say with the gigafactories and with your growth projection, it should fall in line between 870,000 and a million deliveries? And the CFO jumped in and he was like, no. We're not talking about that. We're going to provide that guidance next quarter. And Elon, the dude's friggin' genius. He was like, oh, I appreciate that. You sound pretty smart. It sounds like you know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. So what do we know about Elon? The dude's competitive and he likes to put things out there. I predict that they go for 1 million vehicles next year, and I predict they hit it. And if they announce that next quarter, all you guys hanging on to your 430 a share, 440 a share Teslas, we gonna be balling, baby.
Yeah.
We gonna be rolling in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's just so many other things that are going for them. And I mean, if you're not, I don't know what people are smoking. I had somebody they're
smoking.
yeah, like with somebody on Twitter was, these Tesla Q people. Have you ever seen these people on Twitter, the Tesla Q folks? So, anything with a Q designation is what?
I don't know.
It's bankrupt, right? So like,
oh, okay.
Like JCPenney and stuff like that, they've all had Q designations. So if you look at the end of a ticker, like let's just say that Tesla was bankrupt, it would be Tesla Q. So it'd be TSLA Q if it was bankrupt. And so all these Tesla Q people, they're still out here. I mean, I don't know how much longer these shorts can hold on, but I put out a tweet as well. I said, these Tesla Q people can be officially lumped in with the flat earthers because they just make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the argument anymore. 5 straight quarters of profitability, no signs of that slowing down anytime soon, and it's only going to go up. We love Tesla. What else can we say about it? Buy it, hold it forever, and thank us later.
Can you pull that clip so 3 months from now when we have earnings and they say that, I can friggin' dance?
Yeah, I was actually going to pull this whole clip and make it a video itself anyway, the whole Tesla.
All right.
We went on a rant, so I thought.
Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
We'll see you live.
We're
on
done.
Sunday.
Have a good night. Speaking of which, though, guys, we're actually hanging out with you through the end of earnings or through the end of the day today again. We are just marathoning it up. This will be our 3rd day in a row of a 2.5 hour stream. So we'll be hanging around through earnings. We have pretty interesting earnings coming up today as well. And if I'm looking at the schedule here, it looks like that's our next topic of discussion.
Yeah, and sorry, let me stop. Let me just get a couple questions in regarding Tesla EVs.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
So Melissa, are you serious? You like Nikola?
Get out of here.
Question. I don't know if that's troll. I don't know if you're trolling. Are you serious? Okay, just
sarcasm.
So Helion apparently going off.
It is.
It is okay. I don't know if you want to touch on Helion, thoughts on Helion entry for that, or how you feel about it.
I don't know why it's going off. It just randomly went up 7% in a matter of 10 minutes. As we were talking about Tesla and people were chatting, I was looking at it in the background here, and I do see that right now it's sitting at $24 a share. It's up 6.5% now. It has pulled back some. I don't see any actual news on it. Certainly would be nice if anybody had any news on this as well. I just don't see anything. Doesn't mean that nothing's happening, but I got nothing. I got nothing.
I'll check the old Twitter.
The old Twitter machine.
Yeah. I mean, how great is Twitter? I mean, as far
It's
as just like getting information,
it's so funny because people shit on Twitter a lot. People who use Twitter, FinTwit, all that good stuff. You know how many times I've seen people, or I know people, I should say, that make their living in the stock market because of Twitter.
mm, just getting information sooner
Yeah,
than everybody else.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, even if you go, I mean, and we love ourselves some Yahoo Finance and CNBC because obviously there's credibility there, and so sometimes if you find something on Twitter that's not exactly credible, you got to do a little bit more legwork. But Twitter is, if you want something instantly, it's Twitter. You got to go to Twitter to get it. So, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
there's no news. There's nothing on Google and there's nothing on Twitter right now. But I'll keep my eye on that.
Yeah, it seems really, really random. I don't know if it's a squeeze or people just trying to pump it up or whatever. Who knows? You see this sometimes,
Um,
folks, especially with something like Helion and even Nikola, where like and it's sad but true. It can be influenced by large groups of people. So if there's a huge social media following that was like all about Helion and just went in and started buying it up like crazy, stuff like that happens, believe it or not. So this could be exactly what it is, or maybe there's actual material event. So far, we got nothing. So seems pretty random to me.
okay. Speaking of that, Majid Makhtari asks, "What's going on, Majid? Who should I follow on Twitter?"
Me, duh.
On the chaos.
Yeah, so at Own the Chaos is where I'm at. But I don't follow too many influencers. Usually, it's more like I just have friends that are really good traders. So I don't really necessarily have anybody offhand that I would suggest as far as Twitter's
Yeah.
concerned. Charlie, Zip Traders on Twitter, he and I are pretty good friends, and we'll share each other's stuff. So if you guys are going to check out Charlie, it's just at Zip Trader. He's a good guy as well. But that's pretty much it. That's who I really associate with on Twitter as far as colleagues and other traders are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, with 240 characters, I don't think you're going to get too much. I think the purpose of Twitter to leverage is to get things quicker.
Yeah.
So I just look at tickers. So I don't want to assume people know, but like if you put the dollar sign in front of the ticker symbol, that's sort of the shorthand for the company for the ticker.
Cash tag.
Um, yeah. What's that? Oh, cash tag. Yeah,
Cash.
yeah. So it's the dollar sign is called the cash tag.
Yeah,
So um that's just seeing what who's talking about it. So if you go in the search bar, put in the cash tag, the ticker you're looking at, and just filter it by latest, you'll get what's going on. So that's what I do when I'm waiting for the earnings to come up. I'll go between that and Google to see which pops
yeah.
up first, and usually Twitter wins.
Yeah, I see a lot of people ragging on me about Portnoy. Portnoy can kiss my ass after this weekend, after shitting on my Ravens all weekend. And then he lost his money betting on the Eagles like that. What the hell was he thinking? So Dave can kiss my ass.
Well, that's because he got his ass handed to him the week before. That's why he's so hating on the Ravens, because he bet the Ravens against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, that's it for that. Okay, so moving on. What was the next topic? Pre-market earnings.
Yeah. So we had some pretty interesting earnings this morning as well. Coke, Tractor Supply, which was on Stockwatch Sunday, and Southwest all reported this morning, and all had some pretty mixed reactions as well.
Yeah. So where's Coke sitting at right now? Because I know it was up earlier in the day.
Right now, Coke is sitting at $50.70. Actually came down as soon as the market opened. It looks like they had some pretty good earnings. I didn't really catch the actual numbers.
Yeah. So they beat earnings per share. 46 cents was expected. They reported 55 cents a share. 8-point revenue. They beat on revenue. They estimated 8.36 billion. They reported 8.65 billion. So all of that stuff was good. Obviously, year over year, they were down a little bit, but as far as what the expectations were good. They had mentioned that what we had talked about, so quarter over quarter, or they were saying last quarter to this quarter, they're seeing an increase in demand. That's optimistic. And then they talked about slimming their portfolio and cutting about 50% of their brands to focus on their popular products and growth potential. Now, we've talked about this. We knew this. Awesome. I'll dig into a little bit more because I wanted to know if there was any updates on Topo Chico's, their hard, their foray into alcohol.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be exciting. I didn't hear anything about it, um, but I think that this might be a point where Coke looks back and like pandemic was tough, but I think by them slashing 50% of their brands, that's huge for such a big company to do.
Yeah.
I think they might look back on this and be like, damn, this might have been the best thing that happened to us.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what happened when, the autos got bailed out. Not to say that Coca-Cola is going to get bailed out and they're just fine. But, when times get tough, it's time to consolidate. And GM, I mean, they cut half of their fleet as far as brands are concerned. Pontiac no longer exists. Saturn no longer exists. All those other brands that, Saab, they had Saab as well. They cut that one out. Quite a few other ones. And so, right now it's just what? GMC, Chevy, and Cadillac. That's it, right? They don't have any other brands that I can think of. I don't think so. Anyway, they consolidated that down to try to just make things easier and more compact and be able to kind of focus on those specific brands to keep growth up. And so that's essentially what Coke is doing. We saw that Tab got discontinued for the first time in 60 years. 60-year brand is finally no longer with Coke. And so I'm really interested in the alcohol side as well. The seltzers really got me intrigued, so we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, things are looking up for Coke, and as we start to recover, Coke will still do well. I'm literally, I won't say literally, but I'm really surprised though, Christian, about Coke not seeing the kind of growth that we saw with Sam Adams and Brown-Forman and a lot of the other alcohol stuff. Because wouldn't you think that there's more people still going out and buying, Coke at grocery stores? And obviously the restaurant and hospitality business is huge for them. But in my opinion, I just would be surprised. I am surprised that we haven't seen the kind of demand increase that we saw like with alcohol. And I know that alcohol is what it is compared to soft drinks. So maybe it's more of an apples to oranges comparison, but maybe you can speak to that a little bit better than I can.
Yeah. Coke has done an incredible job over time of positioning themselves on the forefront of like the hospitality industry. So, and getting people accustomed to when they go out to ask for Coke.
Yeah.
So I think Pepsi's kind of had their, is really like the loyalist, and that impacts more from home. So if you look at the percentage share, Coke has a far greater percentage share of hospitality than Pepsi does.
Right.
And one of the things they talked about was think about the entertainment industry, and they've spent money on that. Theaters hammered them.
Yeah.
No theaters. Right. The only time we ever buy cherry Coke is not at the grocery store, but at the theater.
Right.
And so the theaters, the entertainment, the sporting venues, like all those are dominated by Coke.
Right.
And so I hear what you're saying, but it is a little bit different because they have such a heavy reliance on Coke sort of out in the mainstream on premise.
Yeah, I'm keeping Coke in business because anytime I'm buying Jack, I'm buying Coke. So they go hand in hand.
That's true. That's true.
All good points. Hillion's still ripping here. I have no idea. I got no idea what's going on with them. They're now up 12% just about here.
Something's happening there.
Yeah, I have no idea. No clue, guys. I guess we'll find out at some point. But it is ripping. So just be careful because we've seen this story play out before. Okay. Not to say that it's going to come down or anything like that, but if this is literally a nothing burger, then it could spell disaster for anybody who tries to chase this boner because it is for sure a big old giant boner candle. So just be careful. Maybe there's some good news coming out of here, but I have no idea what's happening. So
yeah, there's still nothing yet. Everybody's just saying short squeeze. But there's nothing actually that's happening here.
Maybe.
Okay, so as All right. So,
Real quick, let me check in with some folks here. We got 344 of you watching. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We certainly appreciate you. Only 86 likes, which feels a little bit on the low side. So if you give us a thumbs up, you're getting value out of today's live stream. We certainly would appreciate you helping support the channel in that way. And also, if you are just joining us, make sure that if you want to be part of the conversation, hit the join button and become part of the Chaos crew. And we'd love to have you guys over there.
let me do one more search, but while I'm doing this, I wanted to move on to the next one, which was Tractor Supply Company.
Yeah.
TSCO. They reported earnings. They were down. What's the update on them? Where are they sitting at?
Right now, TSCO is actually still down around 7.5%.
Okay, got it. So they beat earnings. Their estimates were 133, and they beat them pretty handily, 162.
Which is what we said they were going to beat.
Yeah, So our predictions, I believe you had 146 and I had 150.
Yeah.
So you had 147 and I had 150.
And they blew both of those away.
What's that?
And they blew both of those away.
Yeah, they did. And so that was a beat. Revenue was a beat. They had 2.61 million versus the 2.61 billion versus the 2.39 billion estimates. So all that was good. As far as why it went down, no surprise was oh no, I'm sorry. I thought it was the COVID-19. I actually don't know if anybody in our crew knows. I don't know anything that would have justified it going down. I'm not sure if they gave guidance moving forward.
The only thing that I could think of too, and I didn't see anything either. Definitely open to hearing anybody's opinions or suggestions, or if you found anything factual, certainly would welcome that as well. But the only thing I could think of is that maybe this is some profit taking. We saw it run up from 136 all the way up to about $160 a share just a few days ago. And then the only reason that I could think of that maybe it sold off leading into earnings was because the entire market and the sentiment there as far as the stimulus is concerned. But looking down here, I mean, and I'm going to just go ahead and share our screen here real quick to kind of show you what I'm looking at on Webull. But it looks as if, from a technical standpoint, we're looking at a support that this is now bounced off of at 135 and now sitting back up at 138. There's nothing here that tells me that TSCO isn't a buy. So if you guys are looking for some cheap shares on Tractor Supply, and especially, the demand is still very much there and alive and well, and the more that we hear good recovery news, the more that TSCO is going to increase in demand. So yeah, I say it's definitely a buy here, and there's no reason why I wouldn't consider this an upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did offer guidance. It's pretty similar. It was in line to what was this quarter, so they didn't move it up. So they did offer guidance, so that wasn't what it was. But we move on to airlines.
Yes.
Southwest Airlines reporting earnings this morning. Their biggest loss ever, but we already knew that.
Right.
Not a surprise. Again, clickbait. Get the hell out of here with that. So Southwest Airlines reported earnings, and all the airlines are pretty much up, right?
Yeah, all the airlines are up on positive stimulus news. They all said basically that we need help, and based off of what's being communicated from Congress today, this afternoon, that things are looking up. So that's why the airliners are moving up as well.
Okay, so here are the numbers. Earnings per share. They they expected a loss of $2.35 a share, and they reported $1.99 a share. Good on you. Revenue, they beat on revenue as well. 1.79 billion versus 1.7 billion. Here's where I think they stood out. One is they reported demand is increasing, and we've seen that with the TSA numbers. We're seeing record numbers with demand and improvements on that. They have put a heavy focus on cash burn, which, if you remember, Brett, I brought this up. I want to say it's been maybe a month where they reported that they've actually trimmed their balance sheet and they've actually been able to decrease their cash burn.
Yeah.
So we knew that ahead of the game, and that was and it's even getting better.
Right.
So their cash burn isn't as bad as they thought. I mean, by all accounts, they showed so their cash burn average, they trimmed it to $16 million a day um, for the quarter. Now, the previous quarter was 23 million. So I know that's a lot of money to us, but for them as a business, they've done a really good job of decreasing that. And the fact is by their ability to do that in conjunction with the stimulus going through, they're going to be in a really good spot. And our thesis remains the same, which is Southwest is the best airline out there,
Yep.
best managed, best balance sheet, and they reiterated that today. So we should feel good about Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's an airliner to own, this is definitely the one, and we haven't been shy about that. Also to note as well, JetBlue has been making some really nice moves too, and this is another one that we like that's a little bit on the cheaper side if you guys aren't feeling Southwest. This has done nothing but go absolutely bonkers as well, from under $12 a share, which I said if you could scoop anything up under $12, that would be a buy for me. And now up over $13 a share. It's up 10% today compared to Southwest's 6%. So either way, both of these are moving really well. And right now, I'm looking at JetBlue to break up over 13.20 for a continuation here. It's looking good for both of these companies here as well.
Yeah, and I want to address the elephant in the room because airlines and cruise lines get grouped together.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot when we're talking about stimulus stocks and all this other stuff. They both have a long road ahead of them, and the recovery is going to take time for them. But there will be that is the stimulus. There'll be a surge, and as the numbers come back, there'll be a surge. But then next year is going to be tough. Actually, I think it'll be kind of maybe the following year, where it's like next year when people start coming back and we get these numbers, we're going to get excited. But then you got to play catch up from all the debt that's accruing right now. Right. So long term, they're good, but cruise lines, they're not having people back.
No.
Like airlines, they can mitigate it a bit. Middle seats are open, all that stuff. So we're seeing the demand there. Whereas cruise lines, as much as there's a long road ahead for airlines, I mean, we will have bankruptcies for cruise lines, and they got tough sledding for years and years ahead of them.
Yeah, I don't see anything and just Carnival Cruise Line is one that we always kind of go back to, where their convertible debt is higher than their market cap even is, which is unbelievable as an astounding number. And I don't know how they bring that down without just continuing to dilute the stock, especially since they're not bringing any revenue to pay off that kind of debt. So it is going to be a long road for somebody like Carnival Cruise Line, much longer than the airlines will have. And there isn't any part of me that wants to touch any of these cruise lines. If you have to, though, if you just got to have a cruise liner, why not just go with Royal Caribbean? I know that they're higher priced, and I know that, it's not as attractive as something that's priced down at $10 a share like Carnival is, or even Norwegian, but this is a better company. There's a reason this is priced higher than those other two. And they have a better balance sheet, even though they are still in the same boat, no pun intended, as the other two. I think this is a better one out of the three. If you have to own a cruise liner, if you just got to have one, go for Royal Caribbean.
Absolutely. Let's see if we have any questions. I sound like I'm describing someone coming out of rehab. Yeah. And
pretty much.
And the cruise liners are that person addicted to crack. They ain't coming back from it.
I like Coke.
But the crack. Or heroin. Heroin, yes, that's better. So maybe
I don't know about better.
Maybe the airlines are cocaine. We can get you back from that. And alcohol, we can get you back from that. That heroin.
This is a terrible reference.
Now Snookeroo agrees with me. All right. So I think we're good on that. Next up is earnings we have today, and we're going to stay live through the earnings today.
Yes.
After hours. We have a few. The ones that stood out to us that we wanted to talk about were we have Sam Adams, Intel, Mattel, and Capital One.
I like the enunciation was very important there. Yeah, just what's up, Don Franz? Don Franz in the house. This is just for that demonetization. Probably so. But before we get into those, just so you guys know that those are the ones that we're looking at, we'll go ahead and get into some questions here real quick. Just wanted to check in with you folks as well. We got 374 of you in here. Thanks for hanging out. We certainly appreciate it. If you guys are new to this live stream, you're just visiting this channel, stumbling along and seeing what these two idiots are talking about and why am I here? You're here because we are here to own the chaos of the stock market. We created this channel to be able to help you guys take care of the crazy, chaotic world that is the market and investing. If you guys want to be a part of our community, which is the Chaos Crew over here, you can kind of see the chat just kind of blowing up here, people just chatting away. Those are all the Chaos Crew folks. It's $4.99 a month. You get access to the chat throughout the week. You get a watch list that we put out every single day of the week, which, by the way, not trying to just, a little humble brag here that we crush it, just low-key crushing it. And you also get live streams and access to our public portfolio, all that good stuff about being a part of the Chaos Crew for a measly $4.99 to $9.99 a month.
Yeah, so kicking it off with Sam Adams, which we both really like. 450 is the estimate that they're coming in for their earnings. What are your thoughts on Sam Adams?
Oh my God, I love Sam Adams, and I think it's just a bold prediction to say that they'll beat that. I don't know if I'm even gonna come. I don't even know if I'm gonna come up with a number, just because they've just been. Where's the top going to be, I guess, is what the question is. Because since April, okay, the stock has gone from $283 a share and now sitting at $915. And that's on a pullback. It got damn near over 1,000 at $986. And it's worth noting that $915 is what we talked about on Stock Watch Sunday, that it was a very solid support for it. So, yes, I'm still considering this a buy. But I think just on the sheer amount of volume and growth that we've seen over the last 6 months, it's like, where does it end? Where does the plateau start? And it's just, I don't know. So I think that at this point in time that, just them beating earnings and still having a positive outlook would be rather bold to say.
Wait, you're saying it's a bold prediction that they beat earnings or that the stock goes up?
That the stock goes up, I should say. We'll go with that.
So $4.50 a share, are you think they're going to beat?
I think they'll beat that. I think I'm not going to say that they're going to blow it away, but I think they'll beat it. Like, I'm thinking 463. I'm just throwing a number out there. So I don't think that they blow it away, but I think that they'll beat
$5 a share.
Whoa. All right. I hear you.
Best quarter ever.
All right.
Best quarter ever, people. I do agree the price is high, but let's get that out. Let's forget about that for a second. Let's just talk about earnings.
Okay.
Last earnings, Brad, do you know what their estimate was going into earnings?
For last earnings?
Yeah.
I believe it was somewhere around $2.50.
Yes. $2.43 a share. Do you know what they reported?
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park. They beat about like 100% or some shit like that.
$4.88 a share.
Yeah.
Brad? And that was before.
Why are you yelling at me?
I don't know. That was before even the hospitality opened up.
Mm-hmm.
Been beautiful weather. People have been going outside. They've been more comfortable socializing. You can't tell me that people are buying less. People are buying more.
Yep.
First full quarter, hospitality opening back up.
Yep.
I think they have their best quarter ever and $5 a share. And I think I'm going a little conservative. Bookmark that. And let me tell you one more thing, if I didn't convince you. And Chaos Crew, my people, because they're with me on this one. All you, especially like the black bears and the red bears and the bulls, they're with me on this. If I didn't convince you yet, before last quarter, which was $4.88 a share.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Estimates at $2.43. Their highest quarter in the past 3 years came in at $3.65 a share.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's wild, Brad. $5 a share.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm not saying that can't happen.
I'm going to look like an ass if it doesn't, if it misses.
But you're gonna be a hero if you're right.
I'm all in. I'm just all in.
Yes. Look, you make compelling arguments. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're full of shit because I think that there's definitely an argument that can be made for that. I just worry because it's just so high. And maybe some of this is already baked in. So maybe we see a TSC like move, where it just sells off because people were expecting it. They're kind of in your corner. So,
I think I'm not going to speak to the reaction because I think it is pretty high.
Yeah. So, just be cognizant of that, folks, and just kind of going into it. And obviously, we're going to hang around with you and watch these earnings go through. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild to see the growth on Sam and Sam Adams and just monster moves from this. I mean, we're up almost 500%, 400% since April. It's just an unbelievable move. So, yeah, good stuff on this one, and just checking in with some of you guys. Not to harp on Hillian,
Sam
but
Adams after hours today.
Yeah, Sam Adams is after hours today. Somebody said, not to harp on Hillian, but thought it was suspect hearing what Warren Buffett got into pilot flying. I don't know. Okay.
Help us.
I know.
More context.
Give me something. Anyways. Yeah. So what else we got? We got Intel, right?
Yeah, so Intel, so all these that we're talking about now, they're reporting after hours. So we'll know where we stand with it. So we'll know if I'm an ass in about an hour.
About an hour away. Yeah, that's right.
So we can count that down. So Intel, $1.10. Intel is one that I've been banging the drum on. I don't want to say I've been banging the drum on, but I've kind of pointed out that I feel like
you take credit for this one. You take credit for it.
I felt like it was unwarranted. It got beat up because of the delays in the processor unit, and I thought it was a little bit overblown. And what I felt like happened, I felt like in the matter of a day, Intel turned into a freaking IBM.
Yeah.
Like it's dead. It's dead in the water.
Right.
Now, let's start with what they're expecting. So they're expecting the same earnings per share as they did last quarter. Their estimates for last quarter, which were $1.10. They beat last quarter $1.23. They're at $1.10 again. I expect them to beat. I don't expect them to be much higher than $1.23. I would, if I put a guess, I'd be $1.20. I don't really, whatever.
Yeah.
So
to your credit, this was a stock to watch for the entire month of October, was it not?
Was it October?
I thought we had 10 stocks that we did have 10 stocks we were watching for October. I thought that was in that list. It might not have been, but I know that we talked about this at the beginning of October, and this is something that you really liked for the longer term. One of the big things on their last earnings call, though, even though they beat, was that they again had to delay some of their chips that AMD and NVIDIA had already made advancements on. So Intel is still behind the eight ball on some of their tech. So it really, I think what's going to get the stock moving after hours would be if in that report they have some sort of advancements in some of their chip technology, especially because, there were so many letdowns with Apple basically dumping them and breaking up with them and lots of other things going on with Intel. We need some good news other than just, hey, we beat some earnings.
And I'm going to give you that, Brad.
Ooh, hit me with it.
Because I like Intel. And Don, I agree with you. Don says he likes Intel long-term. When I brought it up, and I think I initially brought it into the play in August, when it dropped, I basically was like, listen, this is ridiculous. Long-term, set it and forget it.
Right.
Doesn't move enough for me to care about a day trade. But here's the thing. Intel, you make this argument. So I think what the common argument is, and I think it's a fair argument, which is like NVIDIA and AMD, not only are you delayed on Intel, but NVIDIA and AMD are widening the gap.
Yeah.
Fair point. What people aren't realizing, and this is what we need to hear, right? Okay. Earnings. Remember this, people. Beating earnings don't mean shit, right? Last quarter, they beat earnings, but what matters is everything else.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen, I hope, is I need to hear about autonomous driving opportunity. I don't think that Intel necessarily wants to compete with Nvidia. I think that's going to be a part of the business just as much as Apple doesn't give a shit about how many computers they sell.
Right.
I think they make this shift, and all signs are pointing to that, is their autonomous driving opportunity. And if they give us some news about that, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen this quarter, but if they do and they bring to light and people realize that's the sights they got set, everybody's on the EV craze. If they start producing those chips that are helping those car companies out, that's going to be something that sets it off. So I think this is a bad quarter. I don't think this is an indictment on the company for the long term. I think Intel is still a player in the chip market, but I think just like Nvidia's gaming, and Nvidia's getting into autonomous driving as well. They were partners with Tesla. But I think Intel stands to benefit for the long term, and I think it has a bounce back year next year. So we'll wait to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely compelling arguments. And Don brought up the point here in the chat here. It says that, by the time Intel moves enough to be a day trade, it'll be too late, meaning that, when the move gets made, it'll be like that. It'll be really quick. So it'll be probably a huge catalyst that comes in, kind of like how we saw with IBM, where they came out with some pretty decent news and it just went the hell off. So accumulating a position for a longer term account makes a lot of sense here. And just understand that going into it, that there's definitely going to be some patience involved here. As long as you have it, it might end up being worth it for you.
Well, let me ask you a question, Brad. If you're the CEO of Intel,
yeah,
and you realize you got your ass handed to you last earnings, what are you going to do this earnings?
Everything I can to turn it around.
They're going to do something. They know they have to do something.
Right.
And they have to report positive. That's just the name of the game. So just wait and see, people. That's all I'll say on that. Ready for Mattel?
Let's do it. This is an interesting one. I like, this is one that, these are the sneaky ones that nobody likes to talk about, or nobody does talk about, but I think this is a sneaky one, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it.
To be honest, we should have flipped these around. I should have ended on those other two, because if I'd ended on Sam, that would have been the best.
I know. That's poor planning on our part.
Yeah. So Mattel earnings preview, earnings per share estimate is at 38 cents. Which is nearly a 50% increase year over year. And then 1.4 billion, which is actually slightly lower year over year, 1.46 billion in revenue. And so that's what we got.
I think they blow it out of the water.
I definitely don't think they show a loss year over year for revenue.
No.
I think they beat on both. I would agree. But you think they blow it out of the water?
Yeah, I think because the demand for board games has been insane. We've seen reports on many fronts as far as that's concerned. Milton Bradley had huge numbers as well, just from a sheer sales standpoint, and so obviously, we're seeing an increase in that because people have been home more, but also we have an outlook as far as the upcoming holiday season. And even though Mattel is cheap and they still have a lot of room to go, I don't know if they end up becoming they report a profitable quarter, but I think they blow the expectations out of water. And I think that there's just a lot more upside here than there is downside. Not saying that you should be holding this through earnings or anything like that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that we see a huge beat from them.
I thought you meant because they do like children's toys too. I thought you meant.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that as well, but
you'd see an uptick in toy sales because they just want to shut their kids up. So like,
there's that too.
Toy, Johnny.
I'm not a parent, so you, of course, would be the first one to think about that. But no, that's a very good point as well. I was looking more so on the board game side of things.
Board game side. So I would agree. I think what we've seen time and time again from these companies, apparel companies as well, is how have they been set up for digital sales?
Yep.
How have they transitioned to digital sales? I don't know that answer. I don't know Mattel well enough, but if they show that they had a good infrastructure in place already, which I imagine they probably would have, and or they pivoted well, then that's going to be the key, because I think the demand's there. Were they able to meet the demand as quickly as possible? And that's what's going to be predicated on. I've used a lot of big words today, I think on purpose, because I think because I dressed a little nicer, I wanted to kind of show myself a little bit
Dress a
more
little nicer. You look like a lumbersexual out there.
It's Buffalo Plaid, baby. It's Buffalo Plaid. Sorry, Stitch Fix man.
That's right. This is Stitch Fix, by the way.
Everything you wear is Stitch Fix.
I know. Bernie, welcome to the Chaos Crew. I think this is our first Chaos Crew member in the last hour that we've been live. So thanks for joining us. We were happy you're here. If you guys want to be part of the Chaos Crew, by the way, hit the join button. We'd be happy to have you. But thanks for hanging out.
There's been a hike in domestic violence, direct correlation to Monopoly board game.
That's probably a very plausible assumption, I would say.
I've never heard lumbersexual. I love it. I'm a fan. I mean, I know that's probably like a derogatory term, but I actually really like it.
Like the brawny man, you know?
What's the brawny man?
The brawny man.
Brawny man,
yeah.
Paper towels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like the Puerto Rican brawny man.
That's right.
I know this is going to start getting things going. Shane said, I just spit out my water on the lumbersexual. Hag ain't part of it. All right. Remember, we'll get to the other questions. Hold those questions until we're almost through, people. We're almost through. We got one more earnings. And the last earnings, hold on, sorry, I'm just checking the market real quick.
It's all good.
Come on, Tesla. Come on, get your ass into gear.
Right now, things are still pretty flat on the day.
Man, I wanted that. I wanted that Etsy. I was like torn between Etsy or Peloton on the watch list. All right. Capital One.
Let's do it.
I got something to say about that. So, but I want to get your thoughts first. So Capital One reports earnings today after hours. To be honest, this is the one I am not prepared for. So why don't you buy me some time?
God damn it. I'm not prepared for it either. But what I will say is that Capital One.
What's the chart look like?
Huh?
What's the chart look like?
Let's take a look at the chart here. Let me see. So Capital One, I think they'll.
All right. Earnings are today, $2.01 a share.
Oh my God, we suck so bad at this.
So here's the setup for Capital One. Capital One is, what did it? Okay, so I'm getting mixed numbers as far as that, but $2.01 a share. Here's the interesting things about banks, and we talked about banks. It's like there's these, yes, there's a broad spectrum of banks, but there's things to consider is how they're leveraged. Right. So you have the groups of like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, who had stellar earnings. Then you have Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Well, they didn't do as well. And the difference is sort of like how they're leveraged. And Wells Fargo and Bank of America are more impacted by the broader banking. Interest rates affect them. And to, I forget who said it earlier, but whoever mentioned earlier about when we were talking about Rocket, they are impacted by mortgage rates. They are impacted by foreclosures. And so we have to decide, where does Capital One fall? Because Morgan Stanley's and the Goldman Sachs of the world, they benefit off of the wealth management and they benefit off of trading. So as trading goes, their company goes. What I say, Brad, is I think Capital One falls kind of right in the middle.
Okay.
More leaning towards the Bank of America side. Yeah. So I don't think I don't think they do very well. I would probably say they slightly miss, but more importantly, outlook. I don't think outlook looks good. So I wouldn't want to be in Capital One.
Yeah, it's interesting because the last 2 quarters have been absolutely abysmal. They reported losses in both quarters. And, I will say that they missed earnings by a lot the first time around. And that was back, basically at the low of the market. They came in at a loss of $3.10 after an estimated of 51 cents. Analysts finally started to get their act together and estimated $1.68, and actual still came in at $2.21. So all signs are pointing to that they'll probably end up missing here. What I'd really like to see from Capital One, though, is how have they been doing on their frictionless transactions? Because they got to be able to catch up with the likes of PayPal and Square. And that's what a lot of these banks I just don't think are really understanding when it comes to that. And, if you're going to be, trying to cater to small business, you're losing ground big time with that. And we've talked about mortgages and loans and how that affects them as well. But really, lots of times, small businesses are trying to reach out to these banks to get loans and be, a part of their payment processing and stuff like that. And they're leaving these banks and not really coming back. I mean, we don't even use, a traditional bank for our payment processing either. So it's like we use Stripe, and they're losing ground, I think, tremendously because of this. And, we'll see if the businesses were able to pay back on their loans as well with Capital One, how all that is shaking out. But yeah, it's not going to be good for them. So this is another bank one that we've talked about, last week, which was the running theme for earnings week last week. I don't think they make this, but I think there's going to be some good opportunity if this does indeed miss and then sell off.
I don't understand companies that can't forecast properly. They've missed their last 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Now, 2, we'll give them a pass.
The last 2,
pandemic.
yeah. The last 2 was, pretty rough.
But I just don't see how you're going to do $2 a share.
That's
how
not
do you
happening.
do that?
That's not happening.
$1.89, book it.
Is that a loss at $1.89, right?
No. It's 201. It's positive. It's 201 a share.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't know. You're talking about COF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, last earnings they
was
missed
negative 221.
Negative 221, right? And so this quarter they're expecting positive.
Yeah.
Damn.
$2.
Not a chance in hell that happens.
Yeah, it does. I don't understand that. And for perspective, their earnings this year, the first quarter this year, which was for last 3 months of 2019, they reported 225. Like, how does that make?
Yeah.
I've been wrong before, but anyways, I digress on that. We'll see. And I mean, we'll get our answer pretty quickly. The one I did want to bring up really quickly, and this is, somebody said, Mike Hudson said, did we say brawny or brony? And I thought you said brony. It sounded like brony. He said 2 different things.
Brony is LeBron's son.
Brony is LeBron's son.
Brawny is the paper towel guy.
Wait, Brony is LeBron's son? No,
Brawny.
Lil Bron.
Brawny. They calls him Brawny.
Brony is some weirdo. Oh, I shouldn't say some weirdos online.
No, they're weirdos.
Like they dress up and whatever. Did you know? Side note: in Baltimore, they used to have a Brawny Fest. The largest bar crawl in Baltimore was the Brawny Convention.
Yeah,
did you know that?
I did know that. Did you also know?
Is it Brawny? It's not. It's a Brony.
Bronies. They're bronies. They're because it's My Little Ponies, but they're dudes, so they're bronies. Did you also know, people, Chaos Crew, that Fat Man Zoom and I had a podcast outside of Own the Chaos that was called The Barcast. And our competition was also The Barcast on YouTube. And they're also bronies. So our competition was bronies, and they still kicked our ass. They still got more views than us.
Yeah, but that's on pause because it
is on pause, but it's
called
pretty
them the
embarrassing.
Dushonies. Okay, so we've wrapped that up. Let's get into some questions. How about that?
Let's do it.
Anything before we get into questions?
Nope. Just want to remind everybody, if you guys want to be part of the Chaos Crew, make sure you're hitting the join button. And if you're just joining us, welcome. Hope you guys hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you guys want to continue to show us some support. Doesn't really require a whole lot of energy from you, but would definitely appreciate it. And we are here for earnings today as well. We got earnings coming up on Sam Adams, Intel, Mattel, Capital One. We just went over all of those, and we are going to be hanging around and giving our reaction to all of those after the bell. So I hope you guys are sticking around for that, and would love you guys to hang out. Now we're getting into some of the Chaos Crew questions. So what do you got for me?
So, well, this is more of a comment, and I think it begs to bring up. Don Fron said PayPal just opened up a whole new can of worms, bringing on crypto, which we haven't talked about crypto. Um, but if you haven't heard, so PayPal's down today, but it had a massive move yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's on the news that they announced that they can now buy and sell crypto and accept crypto as a payment service. Why is this big? Well, this is big not only because people are adopting it, great, like companies, institutions are adopting it. That's fine. But PayPal, their reach in their community and their infrastructure. I mean, virtually you can use PayPal as a payment. Well, now you can use crypto as a payment. Well, you will be. It's supposed to be launched in coming weeks. So the next couple of weeks that'll happen, but you can use it as a form of currency.
Right. Yeah. And you look at Bitcoin right now, and it is absolutely gone off. It's had a much stronger move than PayPal actually did. It's sitting at 13,137. Everybody and their mother is now calling for this to get to 20K. Let's just pump the brakes on that shit, okay? Because it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and crap and doo-doo all over Bitcoin, but the fact of the matter is that this is still becoming very relevant, but there's still a lot of question marks surrounding around Bitcoin and the like. So just be careful with this. Don't just start chasing this thing because it's going crazy and everybody on Twitter is saying it's going to 20K. I'm not saying it won't get there, but it ain't going to happen anytime soon. So just be careful with this. And I mean, I don't know. The Bitcoin people crack me up. The whole community, the whole culture blows my mind.
I mean, it is volatile. I don't want to say it won't get to 20K because that freaking cult can move a thing.
It's insane.
But I don't think it's warranted. I think if it hits 20K, you'll see it hit 10K.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. It's just so crazy. But that does bode well for crypto in general. And it says something because, I mean, who would have thought a few years ago that somebody like PayPal would actually offer that on their platform?
And it's huge because PayPal is such a giant, payment processor. So now you'll be able to actually pay with Bitcoin essentially anywhere as long as you have a PayPal account, which is huge for Bitcoin. So that I'm not discrediting that at all. So there's a major day for those who are invested in Bitcoin. But just pump the brakes. Don't get too crazy on this just yet, because I don't know how widely accepted this is still going to be. But it definitely makes it a lot easier for you to be able to make transactions with Bitcoin for sure.
Yo, calm down. Shane Haley, what happened to the podcast? So what happened? Nothing happened to the Barcast. We tried to do it virtually for a couple of episodes, and then we just realized two things happened. One, we're like, it doesn't have the same feel, but we also decided that the Barcast was a passion project that we want to do for the long term. And the reality is we want to focus. We just decided let's focus all our energy on the chaos.
Yeah.
Get the business side of that going, and then do the Barcast for fun where it doesn't matter who watches or how many views we get.
Yeah. Ultimately, we just want to continue to just create content. That's kind of a passion that's always been a passion of mine. And then after I brought Fat Man Zoom on, he shared in that passion as well. And so we love just talking about business, and that's kind of what the Barcast really kind of revolved around. And we love to just go around the country and just travel to different areas, talk to entrepreneurs, people who started businesses, and not just people in suits, right? Not just CEOs, corporate on the corporate side of things, but people in small business. How did you start your bar? How did you start this whatever business, right? So that's kind of been a passion of ours, and we'll definitely be revamping that, but it does make it really hard to do it virtually. And so stay tuned for that. If you guys want to go check it out, it's called The Barcast. Don't follow the brony people, but go check it out. We haven't put anything up recently, but we'll be coming back with that. So just make sure you got it on the radar.
Yeah. And Don Fran will be one of the first ones when we launch back up, to be on the Barcast. So that should be fun. And Bratz, you're saying I'm not a morning person. Number one, I am a morning person. You're saying that I'm not as engaging in the morning, when we're in Zoom. I'm not as active, but I don't want to steal Brad's spotlight. That's why in the morning mentorship, I'm more of a morning person, but on Sundays it is a struggle for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's a big struggle for me. So next question. All right, let me get beyond all these lumber sexuals. Landon L, Fat Man, you still in on Big C? Um, I sold Big C, but um, I sold Big C, I want to say around maybe 110, 120. I don't remember exactly. I sold Big C because I wanted some cash on hand. And I sold it right before it dropped. And I had mentioned in the live stream, I got lucky. I didn't know that the drop was going to happen. And I'm actually surprised that it has gone down so much. I tried to make a move, but it's down to nearly $90 today, down
It's at
5.5%.
$90 today. Yeah, so it got as high as 109.15. Just
Okay,
to
so I
give you,
probably sold like around 106, 107.
um,
But it was luck
yeah,
that I got out. Um, but I do really like Big C for the long term. Um, and I'm anxious for when they have earnings to see what their outlook looks like and where they're going. But they're positioned. I love what they're doing, their business model. We'll just see how they can monetize and how their balance sheets ends up looking. Fat Man hitting the sauce on Saturday. um, so yeah, so any questions, fair game right now. You guys can ask any question. Um, somebody asked about solar. Let me find that question. Sorry, I can't find the question.
Sunrun.
Okay, here we go. Let it know. I know we talked briefly on solar, but how do you feel about specifically FSLR? Kramer seems to like it as well. Some of the other CNBC suits. So first, solar. If you could pull that up. Um, I really like the company. Earnings are next week on the 27th. I really like First Solar. I don't know a ton about solar stocks in general. I know you talk about TAN, but uh, I mean, it looks like from a revenue perspective, from a growth perspective, it looks like they're going to knock it out of the park. Maybe this will be one we can talk about Stock Watch Sunday or on Tuesday.
Yeah, so First Solar, I think, will probably end up doing well, and here's why. We've talked about how real estate is booming, people are moving into new homes and that sort of thing, and a lot of new home buyers are purchasing solar panels and that sort of thing. So I think that they actually end up beating earnings. I think that First Solar is actually one of the few companies that I think are worth taking a look at and investing in. It has gotten a bit too high, however, so I don't know if holding through earnings is a wise decision unless you think the risk versus reward is worth it to you. But, again, this is going to be one that may end up doing extremely well in a Biden presidency. And if it may end up falling flat on its face in if Trump ends up winning. So this is going to be a topic of discussion when we were talking yesterday about, stocks to watch for if Trump wins versus Biden wins, that sort of thing. This is definitely something that you should be keeping on the radar in a Biden victory. So, even if you're not getting in on earnings here, First Solar is definitely one to watch for. Sunrun's another one. We talked about TAN, the ETF. If you're lost on which actual solar company to get into because there's so many and most of them are garbage, then yeah, I like First Solar though. I think that they're definitely a good company and definitely one to keep on your radar.
Yeah. And Don said he thought TAN was held First Solar, and he wanted to fact check. So, but yes, TAN First Solar is in TAN, so they have exposure to that, so that's good. But again, if you just believe in First Solar, find a good entry and an opportunity. But for long term, this should be a pretty decent play. Or you can just buy Tesla.
You
So
can just buy a Tesla. We got four
just
hundo hanging in the live stream. So appreciate you guys
nice.
hanging out.
All right, so you know, uh, Don. Don says this is the first time I legit thought about crypto on the premise of PayPal breaking the ice of a name brand company bringing them on, which Square had them. So like, but PayPal, I would argue right now, Square has greater growth potential, but PayPal is a bigger brand. But the sentiment is true. I would agree with that because um, it's the first time this morning where I was like, man, I'm not a fan of crypto, but like I don't want to be an old head. Bears, we need to know about it. We need to learn it. We need to understand it. I get annoyed about it. Crypto people remind me of CrossFit people. Like, just shut up about your workout. We get it. You work out. Like, first of all, your pull-ups are bullshit. Those aren't even real. Like, you're going to hurt yourself. That form is horrible. I worry about your sphincter on your squat form. Like, but anyways, they remind me of that. And that's what's caused me problems, is like, they just annoy me so much. I don't even want to give you the fodder. But to me, the PayPal thing is like, the fact that you can actually use it now and buy things with it, man, I don't want to be the old head that just missed the boat on it. We should at least be educated on it. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Don.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a compelling, it's a compelling argument for sure.
The sphincter argument?
Yes, that too.
But man, aren't those CrossFit people annoying?
Yes. Oh my God.
Obnoxious.
Yeah. Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
Take your burp. Four crew members.
Take your burpee somewhere else.
He said, I saw something about the CrossFit of currency. That has a nice ring to it.
It does have a nice ring.
Don, you need to do a video with that. That's got to be the thumbnail, the CrossFit of currency. The other one was...
Oh, there they go. We're dropping off. See you, CrossFit bitches.
Bye-bye. I'm okay with that. I forget what I didn't see the other one. I'll find it in a second. But, okay, so people are asking about Apple. We got a ton of earnings next week that are really, really important.
Yeah.
We got Apple, Amazon, all this other social medias. Why don't you just kind of lump them together, kind of talk about your thoughts? Because I think the sentiment's the same. Why are the stocks so low? Like, what's a good entry point on them?
Well, it all starts with Snap. Snapchat's still going off. It's an absolute monster. I've been waiting for an opportunity to see if there's going to be any selling of Snapchat, and it just hasn't happened. Not since the boner candles that we saw on Tuesday. This thing is still an absolute monster. And so this is kind of a precursor, if you will, to all of the other social media platforms. If Snapchat is doing this well, then there's reason to believe that Facebook and Pinterest, Twitter, all the other ones, are going to do well next week. So that's just a premonition. That's what people are kind of are assuming. But we take a look at something like Facebook, and it's still up today as well. Had a relatively decent day overall. It's still trying to just stay afloat in the green. But I think the argument can be made that because of Snapchat doing so well, that these will do well too. I think that we're seeing a comeback on ad spend, especially on social media. And more companies are really kind of realizing that not as many folks are watching TV. We've already experienced a poor performance on people watching sports, which means that all the ad spend that went through on sports probably was more or less wasted money that you probably could have spent using on social media. So I think that this is going to be, first of all, we've talked about 2021 being a banner year for a lot of things. I think it's going to be a banner year for social media as well. And so I think it starts with this quarter.
Awesome. There's a lot of questions, so I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to jump on to the next one. So Bodie Bear asked about GM, knows the Hummer's a lofty price, but they're moving into EVs. Thoughts on GM as a whole?
GM is confusing to me because it's gone off. It's up 4%. A lot of this probably is revolving around EVs, but the other thing I do like about GM is that we've been seeing some pretty awesome new car sales from them, and across the board, the industry has been selling cars like crazy. What confuses me about GM and those who invest in GM right now is that if you're going into GM because of the EV, first of all, Tesla is still blowing them away, even with all the goodies that are on the Hummer, and they still have a lot of confidence in Nikola, which still has me scratching my head. And I don't know what they are seeing that we're not, because so far nothing's come out of Nikola that really has me, getting excited about it. And it's been a dog this entire time ever since they went public. It continues to be one. So there's just a lot of question marks I have about GM, but so far it looks great. I just wouldn't be chasing it all the way up here.
I'm going to say something that's probably taboo and might upset some people, but
Well, you're no stranger to that, so let's just
but our people.
Yeah.
I don't care about the other people. But so first of all, Hummer is way niche. It is overpriced and it's way niched. We also talked about yesterday was sorry, let me stop. So why it's important to know that's way niche. You're targeting like just a very small subset. There's not mass appeal to Hummer.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like a BS play to like capitalize off the EV, but like it's not gonna be anything material. Like make a EV for everybody.
Yeah.
So how long is it gonna take you to get that Hummer out? And then beyond that, but then you got to create another EV and then you got to catch up to Tesla. Here's where I think I might offend some people, but I don't believe an American car company is going to be the one to unseat Tesla. I just don't see that because one, like I see like maybe a German automaker, like I think there's too much pressure on keeping prices low and there's like quality issues. I just don't even think our business people are bold enough to take that chance. And I realize that's like a taboo for me to say.
Yeah.
But, the reason why Tesla is so successful, and I love that we have Tesla, is because you have a guy, Elon, who's really thinking about things differently. And until we have new leadership in our auto industry, they're going to think like old people, like the old regime. And so, or the old guard is the word I'm looking for. But when you think about like maybe a Japanese company, maybe a obviously Chinese companies are moving where their quality is suspect, but apparently maybe NIO does. But like a German automaker, I see that more likely to happen where they're like, I don't care about the cost. We're going to make it right. And they have they focus on the technical part of it. They don't put out shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we saw that with the Porsche Taycan, right? I mean, the Porsche Taycan came out and it's still not as technologically advanced as Tesla is, but it was compelling enough for somebody like Bill Gates to buy one. So there's definitely an argument can be made.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's definitely an argument that can be made as far as the German side of things. I mean, Japanese is definitely could be in the running as well. We've seen the Prius and just how long that's been around, and it's kind of become a staple to some folks who are really into the hybrid EV stuff. And you bring up a good point, because just last year, before the pandemic and before EVs really started to kind of come into their own and become mainstream, Ford, GM are vowed to invest hundreds of billions of dollars to improve internal combustion engines, and weren't even thinking about EVs up until recently. And so, at least not to the degree that they are now. And so all of that money they went to investing into just improving the internal combustion engine rather than going into electric vehicles. And so that is just why they're so far behind. And so now they have to spend even more money to try to keep up with Tesla, because if Tesla ends up selling 1 million vehicles next year, which sounds like they could, they're on pace to, they would be on pace to basically have about 20% of the entire vehicle marketplace, automotive marketplace by 2030.
Wow.
And that would be absolutely insane. An absolutely incredible. I mean, 20%, that would be wild.
Richard, don't try to catch me. You see, you think you catch me slipping, but Richard's here saying, Tesla's an American car company, right? First off, I just acknowledged Tesla, but we already said it's not a car company.
No, not only that, but you said there wasn't going to be an American car company to upend Tesla.
Yes.
Your exact words.
Yeah. So the whole reason Tesla was able to upend the industry, or to disrupt the industry, was because of I basically feel like the car companies have their feet in the concrete, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're just like, is there even a saying feet in the concrete? Because I think I just made that up.
I don't think so.
Feet in the sand. But But anyways, like I can see some. Isn't Audi in Germany? Is Audi in Germany?
Yes. Yeah. Audi
Like
Volkswagen.
people are saying like Mercedes, cool, like all that other stuff. Like I see like an Audi coming out with an EV, or just a company totally new. But yeah, I just they're trying to play catch up. I think they're going to throw cars together, and I think they're just not going to be able to really compete. They'll have cars. Don't get me wrong. They'll have EVs, but I think they're going to try to rush them to market, and I think they're just going to try to get them out, and they won't be able to really compete with Tesla. But I digress. On to the next one, which is uh, Nino Fisher. Should I get Fastly and Peloton at today's price levels?
Yes. So Fastly, I actually bought myself for the public account. So for those of you who are part of the Chaos Crew, you'll see this updated in your level 2 post for it this evening. So I ended up hopping into Fastly with an average price right now of around $80.05. I think we're getting close to a bottom support here on Fastly, and I wanted to make sure that I got in because it looked as if that we were perhaps seeing a bit of a slowdown on the selling. I'm not trying to predict the bottom. I never try to absolutely predict the bottom of any stock. So even if this falls down a little bit more from here, I'm okay with that. And I may end up considering adding to this if it gets down to around 75. But yeah, I think Fastly is finally getting to a point to where it's time to scoop it up. You guys know I love Fastly. I've been singing its praises since March and April, and said that back when it was $30 a share, that this was a buy, and basically pounding my fist on my desk, just saying please buy this. And it's done what we thought it would do. Went all the way up to $137 almost a share. And at that point, I was like, it's gone up way too fast, and it's not going to be pretty when this comes back down. And sure enough, it did just a few days later. And right now, though, I think that we're getting to a point to where it's getting a little bit silly in the other direction, that the selling here doesn't make a whole ton of sense. We have earnings coming up next week. I think we see some pretty good earnings. Not sure if I'm going to hold through earnings or not. I might have a few shares just to say I have some, but I like Fastly a lot down at these levels.
So, Hail, we already talked about Amazon, asking about what we think about Amazon. We really like it. It's at really good levels, and they're going to dominate earnings next week. I mean, it's stupid. I don't even know why they gave the guidance of it's like $7 a share. Like it's gonna be double digits.
Yeah.
I don't want to sway you because we try to bring our estimates separately.
Yeah.
But you're probably gonna put it in double digits, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
R. Evans says UA is creeping up. How's Under Armour doing?
Under Armour has been one of these low-key ones that we had on Stockwatch Sunday 2 weeks ago, and it is still rolling here. I hope somebody...
it was your October stock.
Yes, yes, it was. And I think this is one that is going to continue rolling. I hope some of you guys who are hanging out in our community got into some Under Armour, because it has done nothing but go up ever since we started talking about it. So, no reason to believe this is going to continue to come down. I was hoping that this would come back down below $11, and right now I'm not seeing where that actually happens anytime soon. So I'm just going to chalk this up to missed opportunity. I missed my own stock that I was talking about, but I can't hit them all. But hopefully some of you guys were able to get in on this one. I still have all the faith in the world in Under Armour, and I think we continue to go up from here.
All right, everyone, make sure you give context to your question. Let's not forget, if you can give us a little bit of insight when
why
you're
do you like
about a
it?
stock.
Why do you like it?
Why do you like it? So Snookeroo asking about PAG.
Ooh, just a side note here. I did hop into Zynga as well. Just 100 shares, nothing crazy in the public account here. And it is, my average price is at $9.21. It's now at $9.33. Feeling aight about that.
Nice.
But anyways, what was the question?
PAG, Penske Auto Group.
PAG. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know the health of the company as far as PAG is concerned, but what I would think about is we talked about U-Haul not too long ago, and Penske kind of falls into that same category. So with more people moving and that sort of thing, I think this is definitely a compelling argument for why you would want to get into this. I would say, though, $52 could be a reasonable area for a potential entry on this. I'm guessing they have earnings coming up soon. 728 was their last earnings, so yeah, it's probably next week.
I think they had earnings today. They had earnings this morning.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did really well. So they
Oh, so
had
they beat. Yeah, yeah, okay.
their estimate was $1.59 a share. They had $2.87 a share. Up from a year ago, $1.42.
Oh, I see
They
that. Okay.
crushed it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. I had to scroll down some. So yeah, they absolutely obliterated earnings. It's selling off. I think maybe some of this could have been because there was some people probably had a feeling it was going to beat. Maybe there's some profit taking here. So if you're looking for a potential entry on Penske, I think it's definitely could be a decent buy here around 50, 54, 34. It's not some crazy mover, so don't expect any wild moves out of this. But if by some chance it comes back down to 52, I would probably look for this as a potential buy as well.
Is Under Armour buy now?
Under Armour, I'm not chasing it at this point. We go back and look at this chart. It's just done nothing but go straight up over the last 2-3 weeks. Not saying that it can't go because, like I said, I think we do see this continue, but consider the risk buying it all the way up here.
Hey, yo, thoughts on Snowflake?
Snowflake has had a monster of a day, if I recall.
Yeah, it has.
If you missed the boat, I'd say you missed the boat on this one. It's already rolling back up here. We talked about Snowflake on the original IPO. I told you guys, don't chase this thing. Wait for it to come back down to you. We liked the company. We thought it was going to do well, but don't just buy it up on IPO day. And this poor soul who bought it all the way up at $319 a share has got to be feeling a little bit better today because it's getting close. They're getting close to that break even if they didn't sell it. So I like Snowflake. I think they're going to continue to do well. Today is an absolute monster of a day, and really over the last 5-6 trading days, it's been nothing but green for them. I like it a lot. I think right now, though, I wouldn't chase it. And we've talked about chasing boners. Why would you want to chase a boner? You wouldn't. So just stay away for now and see if it has a pullback in it for you to get in. I wouldn't just be going all in at $294 a share.
Okay, next question is regarding Slack. Trevor Sachs. Slack is slacking. Looks like they got a downgrade. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, I believe. I still like Slack as far as the technology is concerned. The company's just not being run very well, and we still got to figure out how they're going to make money, and that's a big problem with Slack. But I still like it for a long term. Short term, probably not a good call.
It really hurts my heart when I disagree with you.
I know.
But God, what a poo-poo company. Slack. So here's what you got to figure out is Fat Man Zoom right or is Brad right? Stay the hell away from Slack. Get something else because Slack, my problem is not with the functionality of the platform. My problem is with the company and their ability. Sorry about that. People just blowing on my phone. Their ability to convert their users to payers, to paid users. And I was embarrassed by their earnings. I was embarrassed for you, Brad. I just don't see how you monetize the platform. I see the Asanas, the Trellos of the world, taking their functionality,
even Zoom,
and leveraging it. Zoom. Yeah. I just don't see Slack doing it. I mean, I really want to, but I think they were a first mover in the industry and they've just never figured it out. And their CEO gave me zero confidence to think that they're going to be able to figure it out. So,
yeah. Didn't Kathy Wood buy up some Slack?
You know what? I don't know, but you were talking about this morning in the mentorship and, yeah, I don't know, but you made a good point. The only reason we talk about Kathy Wood is because of Tesla.
Yeah.
I know she got some Square, but like we wouldn't be talking about Kathy Wood if ARK never got Tesla.
Right. Yeah. And this it takes nothing away from Kathy Wood because she is a ridiculously smart lady. But we say this all the time, and I've said this multiple times on this channel in the past before we, went to this new platform and that sort of thing, especially when, Warren Buffett basically screwed himself on the airlines and everything else. Just because you have the best of the best buying something or selling something doesn't mean that you should. I told you guys that Warren Buffett was making a huge mistake when he bought airlines in February, when he bought them, I guess he was trying to buy the dip on them or whatever, and then he sells them at the bottom of the market. So like that was absolutely insane, and I caught a lot of shit from that because of what Warren Buffett was doing, and I was going against the Oracle of Omaha. But like the thing of it is that even Tom Brady throws interceptions. They make mistakes. So, don't just do everything that your favorite quote unquote investor is doing because you think that they know something that you don't. They're doing the same kind of research that we're doing, and they make mistakes just like the rest of us. So go with your gut, go with what your risk tolerance allows, and you'll be just fine. So just keep that in the back of your head.
We had a question on weed stocks. Bodie Bear, what weed stocks do you like if Biden wins?
CGC really is kind of the only one that I really like. Everything else, they have oodles and gobs of debt, and they are just, they just continue to dilute. I know everybody loves Aurora. All the Robin Hooders love Aurora. There's no part of me that wants all that convertible debt. They've already done a reverse split just to keep dumping shares into the stock, and there's nothing about that I like. Canopy Growth is the biggest company, and they have the best possible success they have best possible outcome for success. And really none of these companies I really like until we see some sort of federal law actually get passed. Nobody says that there's a lock that if Biden gets in that, they'll pass, weed on the federal level. So there's no guarantee that'll happen. Just watch it. But this is the only one that I would go towards. Canopy Growth, CGC. It's the only one that I like.
One word answer. Which airline would you take if you had to pick one?
Southwest.
All right. One word answer. Antonis Carabalegos. So, hey guys, thoughts on Pinterest? One word answer. Is it worth buying with earnings coming up next week?
Yes.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking for one word answer on that one is because we're going to talk more about it. So
yeah,
one of our Stock Watch Sunday will include that. So tune in for Stock Watch Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. We go live. Like and subscribe. Do all the tings. Okay, so man, we're almost there. We're almost at earnings. I'm so nervous about Sam Adams. I gotta figure out something. I want to do something if we hit that $5.
I should be using this more. I don't think I've used it all day. I haven't used the soundboard. Where is it? I have like the Price is Wrong. Like the Price is Right.
Oh. Bernie, new member. Is Vroom VRM a good buy?
Vroom. Is this a lower cap stock? No, it's like 45. I'm not sure about this. I've heard people talking about it. I don't really know enough about Vroom other than the fact that they're in the used car space, like CarMax and Carvana and stuff like that. So, there's definitely something that would have attracted me to it because of the amount of vehicle sales that are being sold and that sort of thing, but it's just not moving like all the other ones are. We look at what's Cars doing right now. Cars.com is doing well. All these other ones have been moving up. CarMax and all the other ones. Vroom's just not one that has been doing well at all. So I would probably say that there's better options out there than Vroom, and I would consider looking at some of those.
Yeah. So, I think long term, if you're talking about long term portfolio, I think it's a great stock to invest in for the long term. If this thing gets below like $43, you might be in trouble. But
yeah,
it's got earnings. It's got earnings on November 12th. I wouldn't be in this for earnings.
No.
Like I just don't. It's just too scary. And then also in consideration of just because it's just so new to the market. It IPO'd in June. So just be careful. This one's a scary one. It just hasn't really figured itself out yet.
Yeah.
All right.
What else we got? We got 416 folks hanging out with us. Guys, we really appreciate you hanging out with us all afternoon. It gets lonely here. It gets lonely. So we appreciate you guys keeping us company and continuing to help support the channel, which, by the way, if you would like to do that, give us a thumbs up. We certainly would appreciate it. And if you guys want to be part of the Chaos crew, you know what to do. Hit the join button.
Savage Ray said, I just like weed in general, not stocks.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fair point.
Thanks, Nukaroo. We appreciate that. We can never get too much love and affection.
That's right. It's all about us. It's all about us. We really don't care about anybody else.
All right, Deepak, any thoughts on TRI?
TRI. Thomson Reuters. What is this? Ooh, gotta donate. Hey, yo, hey, thanks for the donate. Appreciate it. Jeez, a whiz. I would say wait for some sort of pullback on this thing. It looks like it's just way too hot. See if it comes back down to like 79.50 for a potential dip buy. I wouldn't be buying it all the way up here.
All right, next question is, what is upcoming? John Carlos Scalia. I like these questions.
Me too.
I'm not opposed to any just tickers, but like, I don't know. These questions are good. What is upcoming that has you guys excited?
Our studio.
That is true, yeah.
Our studio. I'm super excited for that. I'm ready to take the next leap in our channel, our platform. You know, it's been a crazy year, and we made a lot of changes to the channel. Me, obviously, this was my channel, and bringing Christian in has been a big deal. And then now being able to kind of just grow it in a way that we want to see. We both have the same type of vision, which is awesome and pretty rare to kind of like have somebody else that shares the same vision you do. So it's just been pretty awesome. I'm actually looking forward to 2021. Let's get the hell out of 2020 already.
Yeah. From the stock market perspective, I'm really excited about Amazon's earnings and their outlook on holiday season shopping. Should I be looking at the comments?
No, just thanks for being so candid, John Scalia. Appreciate you.
Oh, he said stocks and stocks earnings. So I answered the question.
He answered the question, yeah. I mean, if you're going to ask just a blatant general question like that, I mean, I'm going to answer it.
Amazon earnings, like I said, I can't believe they had the earnings estimates at $7. The analysts have it at $7.
Yeah.
I think that with Prime Day and with holiday season coming up, I think they obliterate earnings.
Yeah. And the outlook's going to be
just really excited about that. First, so how does such an awesome stock like get no love? It's surprising to me.
Yeah.
I was saying that about Google for a while. It's finally been moving. But man, these are great companies that kind of are just not very sexy.
Yeah. Google's had a really good run here over the last several days. And it's now up to 1615, has been as high as 1622. If you guys recall, and if you guys have been hanging around, we said that anything under $1,500 was an absolute steal. So hopefully some of you guys got that, got the memo on that and made some money on Goog.
People are asking about Gilead, FDA approval.
We'll have to get into that in a sec. Well, I can just touch on it really fast. I don't know anything about the FDA approval per se, but it's been beaten down here a lot. No signs of showing any kind of trend reversal just yet. So let's just pump the brakes on this. It's having a relatively decent day, but I don't like it at all. This chart looks terrible. But we've officially closed the market. The market has officially closed. And if you guys have been hanging around, most likely it's been because we are going to get you're going to get some reactions out of us as far as earnings are concerned. All eyes are supposedly on Sam Adams. It looks like there's a lot of you guys that are kind of really pumped for that. But we're also watching Intel, Mattel, and Capital One.
God, Intel too. I gotta line these up. All right, let me set these up. Intel. Man, I need somebody to help me out. Who's gonna help me watch some stuff?
I'll keep going back. I'll be able to toggle back and forth for you.
What else we got? We got Sam. We got Intel. What else
Mattel
we have?
and Capital One.
Okay. Does anybody have Capital One?
COF.
No, I mean, like, does anybody in the crew have a Capital?
Yeah.
Did you buy Capital One?
I hope not. Capital One sold off the last 5 minutes. So far, it's still kind of red after hours. And Mattel.
What was the Mattel ticker? MAT?
MAT. Yep. So I got them on watch here. Sam Adams is moving up just slightly. It's up 0.06%, so nothing crazy. Doesn't look like we've seen anything so far other than Intel is down 3%, now down 5%. Not looking good for Intel so far. Still early, no official word on Intel, but this looks rough. Yikes.
Intel?
Shit. Yeah, it's down 7%, now falling below $50 a share on Intel.
Let's just wait. Nothing's in yet.
Nothing's in yet on Intel, but
it's in.
What we got?
It beat barely in both. So it beat $1.11 versus $1.10 estimates, and revenue 18.3 billion versus 18.22 billion. But that's not what matters. What matters is what they say. So let's see. They raised guidance for the fiscal year. So is this a fake out? Is this for real?
I don't know. There must be something else that they're missing. Anything on their chips? That was a big deal in last quarter's report.
Not yet.
Okay. So we'll continue to monitor that one. But the official word on Intel is that they did beat earnings and they raised their guidance as well. So good things there for Intel. There's got to be something else in that report that investors didn't like. We'll continue to let you guys know as more information comes in on that. It's now down below, just above, I should say, $49 a share, falling here now down 8%.
And they're doing a $2.4 billion share buyback. This makes no sense.
Oh, it's probably $1 billion, not billion share. That's a lot of shares.
Sorry. $1 billion. Sorry. Yeah. $2.4 billion share buyback.
Yeah. It's now down almost 10%. Intel.
Yep. There's nothing yet. We'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of this, people. But more importantly,
still no word on Sam Adams here. Officially, and hasn't really moved all that much after hours. Checking in with Capital One, no official word on that either, and hasn't moved a whole ton as well. Checking in with Mattel, it's down just about 0.5% after hours, and still waiting on those earnings too. So far, all we got is Intel, and it is continuing to come down here. It's not looking good. Intel might be a buy soon, actually. I'm with you, Snookeroo. It might be. We see some good numbers like that. I mean, I don't know what else is causing this to sell off, but Landon, what's this do for AMD? That's a great question. I'm actually going to check in with AMD, so see where that's sitting. It's actually spiked up. AMD is actually spiked up with this recent drop on Intel.
NVIDIA?
No, AMD has.
And no, I'm asking, and what about NVIDIA?
Oh, what about NVIDIA? Let's check. NVIDIA is actually down about 0.5% after hours.
Okay.
Capital One is up. Mattel is also up. Mattel is actually making a really strong move here, up 4%. Look at this move. Damn.
Nothing yet. I'm looking at Mattel. Nothing.
Mattel is making a huge move here.
We have a nice super boner.
It's up
What is that
8.5% now. Huh?
What is that from?
One of our followers created that. One of our Alex, if you're watching, thanks.
Nothing. Come on, people. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, here we go. So Mattel is just continuing to roll. Capital One is also rolling here pretty good. It's getting a nice little move on. Looks like Capital One might have actually beat. We might have been wrong on this one, my man.
All right, here we go. Capital One. Wait. What? This can't be right. $5.06 a share?
What? How?
This isn't reliable yet. I haven't found a reliable source yet.
Okay.
Let's see.
Mattel is still rolling. It's up 9% right now. Dawson has 506. Dawson has 506 as well, it looks like.
Sam doing anything yet?
Sam is not doing anything as of right now, no.
Okay, I'm still waiting on a reliable source just to confirm that number.
That is wild. How does that happen? How do you go from a $2 loss to a $5?
It looks like it's legit.
Wow.
It looks like it's legit. Revenue, 7.4 billion versus expected of 6.7 billion. Earnings per share, 5,005 cents versus $2.19 expected. I don't understand.
That is crazy.
All right. So
the reaction here is all over the place too. It's gone from being up around 10%, close to 10%, now down. It's actually in the red after hours.
Oh, damn. People are like, I'm getting my money and I'm running.
Yeah, I'm out.
All right.
Sam's
you said
moving.
Mattel was moving, right?
Mattel is moving. It's up 8% right now.
Mattel beat 57 cents a share. Here we go. So revenue beat as well, 1.63 billion. We were right. Finally, we were right about something. And is it up 9%?
Yeah, it was. It's up almost 7% now. It's pulling back a little bit.
All right, now here's what matters.
Sam's getting a move on here. It's up about 0.5% so far.
All right, let's give me something. Come on, baby. I got to stand for this.
So we have the earnings that we were watching. We were watching Mattel that beat Capital One, a huge surprise, obliterated those earnings. I'm not sure how we could even explain that. And then Intel actually missed earnings as well. Or no, they beat earnings, but the market reaction so far is not good. Down about 8.5% so far. We'll see why. They sold off. No clear reason as to why just yet. What investors aren't liking about Intel, but as soon as we know, you'll know. And now all we're waiting on is Sam Adams.
Come on, Sam.
If you guys weren't here earlier in the show, Fat Man Zoom predicted that Sam Adams would come in at $5 plus a share. So that's what he's banking on. He's trying not to look like an ass going into the close here.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, people. Let's go.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's up to 923 from today's 918 close.
Come on. It's like they're doing this shit on purpose.
I know. They know that we predicted we were waiting on it.
I know the CEOs on the earnings calls are like, we're just gonna wait. They're watching on the chaos.
That's
like,
right.
we're just gonna wait.
Yeah.
We're gonna make them sweat it out a little bit.
What did I say that was going to be? There was 450 was expected, right?
Yeah.
And I said what 465, something like that.
I don't know. Something like that. 467, somewhere around there. FDA approves Gilead's remdesivir.
I thought it already was approved. I thought they already fast tracked it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good for them.
Come on, Sam.
Some people are coming in. I got
466.
345.
Mm.
Is that right?
No, they're
Okay.
trying to get a rise out of me. That could be right though.
Lumber sexual dance is now what people are. We got saw jumping viewers here. Welcome, guys. 442. We're just hanging out watching these Sam Adams earnings come through here.
I'm getting hyped. I'm as time goes on, I'm getting more and more nervous. Brad, I ain't falling for that, Brad. You thought this was my first rodeo? Chad. All right, come on. It's going to come through in the next 60 seconds. It has to.
I don't think you were this. I don't think you were this excited for yesterday's Tesla earnings.
Well, no, I wasn't. But because we didn't make anything bold, like we didn't make any bold predictions.
Yeah. You made a pretty bold prediction today. That's for sure.
I didn't hear about semis though. I'll tell you what, if this thing hits $5, I'm gonna get a semi. You know what I'm saying? We'll see that boner candle. Let's go.
I was gonna say,
if I get this right, we better get like 100% likes.
Yeah.
This is just stupid. We're waiting on Sam earnings. Yeah, so Bodie, we're waiting on Sam's earnings to get reported. Stock's not doing anything? Nothing?
No, nothing so far. It's still only up about 0.5%.
I'll sit down.
If you guys are just joining us, we were getting some reactions out of Mattel. While we're waiting on Sam, might as well check back in with Intel. It's still selling off. It's pretty rough looking right now, down at $48.98 a share. It's down about 9%. Still no reason as to why just yet, even though they beat earnings and beat revenue expectations. It looks by all accounts that their numbers are pretty good this quarter, but for some reason investors aren't liking what was in the report. We'll find out what that is hopefully momentarily. Looking at Capital One, they had a huge surprise beat coming in at over $5 a share, which is just still mind-blowing. And we still have no idea how that happened. But Mattel also coming in with not so much of a surprise. We actually expected this a beat, and it actually has gone up as high as $14.40 a share, sitting up about 7% now after hours. No surprise there from us. Anyway, we expected them to beat, and they did pretty handily, estimated at 38 cents per share, came in at 95 cents per share. Mattel blew it out of the water.
So John, I don't think Brad's in any of these earnings.
No, this is just ones that we were just observing. We know a lot of you guys are in some of these, so we just wanted to make sure we were covering them.
I'm in Sam long term. I'm in Coke as well, but that was this morning. I'm invested in this, Sam. Somebody asked earlier, Brad, any news? They're asking about earnings whisperers charts. How you read earnings whisperers charts? I didn't really understand what the question is.
I don't really follow their charts. I just go to earnings whisperers for their earnings calendar just to see who's coming up when. That's pretty much all I use earnings whisperers for. I don't use their charts or anything.
This is stupid. Is Sam's earnings, are they actually today?
I think so. That's according to earnings whisperers. They were. Yeah, it says host earnings call according to Weeble as well. So we're still just waiting.
Double check, because even on Twitter, like usually people are talking about earnings.
Notable watch list for Thursday. Sam, Boston Beer Company to host earnings call.
4:15.
14 minutes ago.
4:15. Apparently they're waiting until 4:15. Is there a weed stock ETF?
What?
Somebody asked about a weed stock ETF.
There is a weed stock ETF, but I don't remember what it is right now off the top of my head. There's an ETF for everything.
Bodie said, I tried Coke once, but cocaine and strippers, baby. That's how we roll on the chaos.
Strippers kidding. And blow.
This is a joke.
Kind of. Wait, it's hookers. It's
in my life.
Hookers and blow, right? You've never smoked weed in your life?
Never.
Oh wow.
We got dressed. I mean, ever since I played football in high school. We got drug tested.
Oh,
just never had the opportunity. High school through college, and then by that time, it was just like too big of a deal.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I actually didn't. I didn't smoke weed till I was over 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Where were you at a frat party?
No, I was actually my Alaska trip. It was the first time I had it.
Really?
Yeah, because it was legal in Alaska. Because, you know, I'm a good little boy like that. So at least I had to make sure it was legal somewhere.
Bratz, what was the empty promise? But you're right. I did that first one, but what was the other? What promise did I make today?
Sam Adams is making a move here. It's up. Oh, just kidding. It's down now. Down now to $891.
891?
Yeah, it's down about 3% right now.
Why isn't it showing up on my chart? You son of a. Okay, hold on. I think I got it. I think I got it. What does it say? Oh, this stupid website. No, this isn't right. Come on.
So right now, Sam Adams, we got all of our other earnings that we're watching in today, and we're still just waiting on Sam Adams. Intel is still coming down. Still coming down.
Mike Jack said, first time I had weed, I tried to get laid. It didn't work.
Yeah. Speaking of semis. Starting to get some buying back here on Sam Adams. It's back up $8.99, but still not looking. Ooh, it's still selling off here.
All right, something's got to come through.
$8.82. Sam Adams is back down almost 4% now after hours.
I just care that they hit $5 a share.
Intel is down 11%. Jesus, it's still coming down.
Everybody just be quiet. Everybody just shut up.
Mattel is up 10% just about here. Mattel is still rocking. Look at this bad boy. 1408.
Okay, let me try this a different way. Okay, here we go.
What you got?
So it says that third quarter revenue up 492 million, an increase of 114 million. This can't be right. Earnings per diluted share was $6.51. Is that right?
I don't know. You tell me. I haven't been looking.
$6.51? That wouldn't make any sense if the stock's tanking like that.
That's
I mean, that's just, okay. Okay. All right.
Oh my God. Look at Mattel. It's still rolling.
Earnings per share, $6. Guys,
Look at Mattel, man. Jesus Christ.
bear with us for 2 more minutes. Just 2 more minutes. I know everybody wants to leave.
Nah, there's still people hanging out. We're still well above 400 people. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thanks for hanging out in this.
$6.51, baby. What I said. $6.51. Man. Woo! I don't care if it's going. I'm buying it just for the hell of it.
$6.51. Holy shit.
$6.51. $6 make you holler, baby. Woo! Who's the square now? Primo. Yeah.
Jesus
Julio
Christ.
Cesar Lorenzo Bianchi. Give me that money. I tell you people.
Oh my God. It's holy shit. That was hilarious.
Woo! Come on, baby. Hook it up. Woo!
Hey, what we got? Okay, fine. I'll give it to you. Primo.
Yo, they might not have that boner candle, but Fat Man Zoom dancing like he got that boner candle, baby.
Oh my
That's actually some members only stuff. I shouldn't have done that. That was some members only dancing. Come on, baby. Show me some love in the chat.
That's all right. Give him a taste. Hey, I tell you what, if this comes down, I'll be buying it up tomorrow morning. If this comes back down to 800s, I'll be buying it up tomorrow morning. Here we go. Dawson's got the goods. He says Q3 non-GAAP EPS of 610 beats by $1.38. GAAP EPS of 651 beats by $1.74. Revenue of 492 million. 30% year-over-year growth. Misses by that's what it is. Misses by the expectation of 28.14 million. So that's why there's a slight sell-off. But I think that's BS. I'd be buying it up here.
Yeah. I'll take $4.67 a share. Slight beat.
Shut up,
sucker.
I didn't say that you were going to be wrong. I just said that was bold, but it was apparently not bold enough. But
not bold enough. All right.
That's it, guys.
That's it.
Thanks.
See you in the mentorship.
Thanks for hanging around. If you guys would do us a solid and give us a thumbs up on your way out, though, it's been another fun day. I know that sometimes we can be crazy and fun, but I hope you guys enjoy us making the stock market fun. And this is just what we like to do. We like to have some fun. So earnings time is always the best time of the year for us, and we just appreciate you hanging out. So you want to be part of the Chaos Crew and get our daily watch list as well. Hit the join button. We'll get your daily watch list as well as our access to our public portfolio, and you can also hang out in the chats during the week. And that is going to do it for us. Fat Man Zoom.
So long, Sucktown.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.